Alright, y'all. Late night thoughts in the bed. This video is going to be basically around on anyone that's new into the game, that's getting into the game. Don't lose yourself and don't get lost in the sauce. And like I said, this goes out to anyone that is starting in the online business game, making a freak ton of money at a young age, or even considering going down a route that may not be the traditional route that your parents or you have set out for yourself. And when I say don't lose yourself in the journey, in the process of it all, because listen, I've been blessed to be able to see both sides of the world, even coming up into this space, making the money that I make now. And let's just say, I have millionaire friends that have all the money in the world, but completely empty here. And I have friends like myself, or even me, who don't have all the money in the world, but are very, very in tune with myself. And why I say it's a blessing, because I've already gotten to see what it's like just from people that I'm very, very close with that have all this money. And it's just like, I'm so glad that when I came up to this space and I started making the money the same way they did, they allowed the money to get to them. They allowed the money to be their entire personality. They allowed the money to be something that they lead with. Whereas then with me, I was dead broke many, many times. I worked 20 plus jobs. I didn't come from money. I wasn't privileged. So in those times, in those situations, in those moments of my life, allow me to know myself before the money. So now that the money comes, it's just like, oh yeah, this is something that comes along the way of my journey and what God had for me. But it wasn't something that I personally led with. It wasn't something where I look at anyone. I'm not the type of dude who's going to look at someone differently because of the money they make. I don't put my boys or anyone around me above or below me just because of money. Because money is not who I am. But money is a lot of people, identity, especially a lot of young people identity, especially when you see that type of money. And it's easy to be caught up in it all because it's not normal for 20-year-olds to make the money that we make. It's just not. And it's unfathomable to a lot of people that are in the normal world in terms of corporate, where it's that's wild. So when you get that type of money and you're starting to make that type of money at a young age, your ego can be very, very inflated. But it comes down also to the individual. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, when you're making 200, 300K a month, everything's going to change. I don't see that to be any case. At 10K, it didn't change. It changed in a way where it's oh, I got to do more things. But in terms of who I remain, who I still am, it hasn't. Now I make anywhere from 30 to 50K. I'm still the same way I was with 10K in terms of my behavior, in terms of I don't spend more, I don't rock jewelry, I don't have fast cars, I don't do anything crazy. I have this beautiful cross, but other than that, that's it. And why that is simply because, not because I can't have it, because I can have it, but it's just not a temptation or urge of something that I genuinely wanted when I got into this game. The reason why I'm in this game is to help and give back as far as the purpose that God has given me, and have fun, retire my mom, do things with my mom, do things with my boys, and live it up. The money was just something that would come along, and it's always been something that would come along the way. But it's just sad because I see a lot of friends that I know and see people that I know that are nothing without the money. And you can see right through a person like that when their whole personalities evolve around, designer shit, or constantly, saying this or showing good deeds just so they can feel good within themselves, and having to display that every second of the day, where it's God knows what you're doing. You don't have to do that, but it's they want people to look at them and have this certain image just because they have all this money. And that's just not the case. Learn yourself, be in tune with yourself. Don't allow the money to be your bitch, or the money bitch you, because that's what a lot of guys fall into. And it's almost like the analogy where it's you got a guy who can't get in the rooms that you can get into, but you're the naked man who can work their way into any room you want without money. And being that naked man, it's okay, this naked man has no money, has no power, but somehow is able to figure out ways to get into different types of rooms, meet different people. And then you got a guy who has all the money, which money can get you into rooms and meet people, but it's you take that away, they're nothing. And I don't think personally you want to do that, because you get lost in the sauce and you just feel completely empty. I have people that are millionaire friends that are just lost in life, feel empty. And a lot of people even glorify all these influencers. It's bro, they're human. They don't have it all figured out. And I realized that at an early age. I'm bro, everyone's human regardless. People get on sales calls with me and they're just shocked. They're oh my God, that's key. I'm oh my God, hey, I'm a human. I'm normal. I'm just like you. Money, and it's crazy because money can amplify you so much, but I think it always comes down to the individual that you really are, and if you let that. And like I said, it kind of ties back where people are yeah, if you make that type of money, you'd be the same way. Absolutely not. I'm not the same way. I'm not going to be with exactly someone else, because first off, that's just not how my mama raised me. So yeah, if you're getting into this game though, as a youngin, I'm 22, so I'm a youngin too. Just come in with good intentions, know yourself beforehand, and then earn a lot of money to get to you and have fun. If you don't know what I do, check out the link below. Check my YouTube out. I'm just giving free game, my experience of life, and I hope you guys like the new Bed Thoughts. So.